Hi, I'm Nancy. Welcome to Mindful Yoga. Today, we take as our theme the warrior, once again. The idea that the warrior is sad and tender, and therefore able to be brave, like a lacquer cup that is both soft and hard. We are also going over a review of guidelines from Chris Holmes at Kripalu in order to align our body, to make space in our bodies, to breathe in an unimpeded way, and to take the load off of our lower back. So let's breathe a little bit to begin, to bring ourselves into a calm place, letting the busyness of getting here fall behind. Sitting on a chair or on something that allows your hips to be higher than your knees. Bring your attention to your breath. Let the breath run up from the base of the spine, up the back of the waist, following the gentle curves of the back, up the back of the neck, up to the skull. No sharp hinges in that spine. Just a smooth curving line. Let the breath come from the lower ribs, expanding out to the side and the back, this largest part of the diaphragm. Letting the breath flow into the lower ribs. And then continuing up to the upper ribs, expanding out under the armpits, in the back and front. Relaxing shoulders down, front ribs down. Let the exhale help you in knitting down the front lower ribs and drawing the shoulder blades in and down. And then bring full attention to just the feeling inside of the breath. Expanding and contracting. We'll just take some unimpeded breaths. The ideal of warriorship is that the warrior should be sad and tender. And because of that, a warrior can be very brave as well. Without that heartfelt sadness, bravery is brittle, like a china cup. If you drop it, it will break. The bravery of a warrior is like a lacquer cup, which has a wooden base covered with layers of lacquer. If the cup drops, it will bounce. It is soft and hard at the same time. The words of Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche. One last unimpeded breath here. This neutral place from which we will move. Inhale as gaze, eyes open, bring the wings up, and then in, cupped hands coming round the face, a little movement in the spine as well, opening the front of the spine, opening the back of the spine. Feeling the movement through the rib basket, through the spine. Feel how closely they are attuned to each other. One last time. Let the chin stay towards the chest, hands come down on thighs, and draw a necklace across the chest. In dialogue with any cricks and cracks in the neck. And then let the chin come up over the shoulder a bit, eyes gaze back slightly. exercising the eyeballs at the same time. And back through center. Let the chin guide the eyes up and back down. One more time, opening up the front of the neck and back to the chest. And come up through center. If you have anything high underneath your hips, take that away now. Coming onto a blanket or a pillow. We'll come into a side bend, one hand planted beside, one arm reaching up and up, get that verticality, then dangle over and arch in the upper middle spine. Inhaling up and exhaling over. As yogis, we feel this flow of energy beginning in our body, flowing up the sides, over the arm. We can also be aware of certain places of tension. I feel one in the side of my waist. Now we're going to slide out and bring the other arm up and over for a broader side bend, coming down into the side hips. Always in yoga, as in life, we're running into tensions and obstacles. And then the whole practice is how we deal with them. Coming back through center, extend one leg out in front with the ankle flex. The other foot comes by the thigh. It might stay there or come over. Let's just bring our hand to the outside of the knee this time. Other hand comes behind as a kickstand. Sits bones are planted down and feel the spine lifting up through the crown. Inhale up, exhale, lower ribs around slightly. Inhale up, exhale, higher ribs around. Inhale up and bring the cervical spine, the neck around. Using the breath to center and balance. Lengthen through the spine. And release around. Other leg extends out, ankle flexed, foot comes up, perhaps over, hand to the side of the knee, plant the hand in the back, long through the spine, inhale, exhale, lower ribs, inhale up, exhale, higher ribs, inhale up, and then neck follows to about 70% of what you could do. Let the breath massage the spiraled spine. And release back around. Bring the feet wide, hands are back behind underneath the shoulders for good support. And let the knees go from one side to the other. Cyndi Lee writes, we feel a tight or dull place in the body. We just notice it with curiosity. I'm feeling some dullness in my hip. How to work with that situation. That's the key. Loosening it up as we're doing. Maybe deepening the breathing. Sometimes using props as they're needed. Now let the arm come in, reach around, give you momentum as you flow from one side to the other. Next time we come around, let the forearms come down to the earth if that is comfortable for you, forehead coming to the backs of the hands, but always modifying to the body that you inhabit. Coming back to the lower ribs, expanding in back and sides. Inhale back up, roll across, and come around to the other side. And bringing yourself up, we'll come into a lying position. If you have a strap or a belt or scarf, have that near. If you have a block or a refrigerator dish or a plastic one or a book, bring that to your side. We'll be using those. Lying down, let's take a nice long stretch. Hand takes wrist and pulls it up. Push down with your heel, open vertical space all through the torso and down the leg, up the arm. And then the other side, opening up vertical space on the other side. Then taking, if you have strap, belt or scarf, if you don't have, simply hold the leg from behind the thigh, pushing up through the heel, gently drawing down. If you have a strap, knee is soft, relaxing down through the back of the waist, through the shoulders, feeling the heaviness of the skull on the mat. One more breath here. Taking the strands of the strap in one hand or giving support to that leg with the hand, open the leg out to the side. Other arm comes out from the shoulder. Feeling horizontal space between the hips. Inhale up, come over midline. You might change hands if you have a strap. Feeling the sensations from within the body. Inhale back up through center. If you have the strap, put that down. Give the knee a hug, that same knee towards the chest. Relaxing shoulders down, hugging the knee in. Then bringing the knee over to the armpit. What do you feel? Come up into half a happy baby. Hand comes to the inner arch, to the arch side of the foot, if that works for you. And then push up slightly, bring the knee back towards the armpit and up. Just opening up in the back of the leg very gently. Gentle openness is what we're going for. Then straighten the leg once more above and slowly let it come down, giving a little exercise, toning to the thigh muscles on the way down. Other leg comes up. Either give it support with hands or use a strap or scarf or belt. Relax down onto the mat, breathing fully as the heel lifts up towards the ceiling. Relax through the back of the neck. Open that leg to the same side. Feel that horizontal openness through the abdominal area. Augmented by the breath, the diaphragm expanding. Inhale, leg up, bring it across the midline. Feeling from within the IT band, maybe down the side of the lower leg. And inhale back up. Put any props aside. Hug the knee in towards the chest. Reach down with the heel of the extended leg. Bring the knee over to the armpit. Perhaps some feelings in the inner thigh. Then bringing the hand to the arch side of the foot, half a happy baby. Let the half baby push up and knee comes back down. One last time. Straighten the leg, let it come down slowly. Then bring the arms out from the shoulders horizontally. Knees bend above the hips. Wiggle the hips around, maybe rock a little bit to find a comfortable place for both the hips and the shoulders. Draw in through pelvic floor, strong through the abdominal muscles as knees come over and hover halfway down to the floor. Come up through center, other side, pausing about halfway down, coming up. This time, as we go over to the original side, pause there in the hover for 3, 2, and 1. Come back up over to the other side, pausing for 3, 2, and 1. We'll do that once more on each side. A good exercise to strengthen the quadratus lumborum, running from the ribs down to the pelvis, attaching to the spine. Come up and over. Strengthening those muscles that weaken as we live in our chair culture. And come up through center. Now bring the feet down a few inches below the buttocks. If you have a block or something, box to put in between the knees, put that there now. The knees should be about parallel with each other. A little bit of squeezing, just a slight squeezing through the inner thighs here. Keeps the knees in the same right position and strengthens inner thighs. Tuck in the shoulders, tuck elbows in towards the waist, lift through the hips, strong through the glutes as you rise. The hands might clasp underneath. Tuck in a little bit more so the arms can take some of the weight. Long from the shoulders down through the knees, soles planting into the earth. Breathing. One more breath. Then relax the shoulders, unclasp the hands, and come down. Remove anything that's between the knees. Knees bend above the hips. Head and shoulders rise. Fingers are at the edges of the skull in the back. One leg extends out. One knee comes up to the chest. A slow leg extension. The slowness aiding the messaging to the deep inner abdominal muscles. 2, and 1. And then if you would like to bring an elbow across to the opposite knee, bringing that exercise into the multifidus muscles, the little muscles that go between the vertebrae and help us with our lateral balance. For 3, 2, and 1, and bring it down. Take a moment to breathe here. And maybe massage the back of the neck up under the, just below the occipital ridge, the bottom of the skull. And then we're going to roll over on our sides. Let the head come down onto the crooked arm, other hand, top arm, the hand is in front of the chest. Legs are more or less straight. Bring the top leg up slowly and down slowly. Inhale up, exhale down. 2 more times, strengthening the muscles on the sides of the hips and sides of the thighs that aid us in having level hips, in strengthening the knee right over the ankle. And now bring that foot down, toe comes to the ankle, traces up to the knee bends in the middle hover, the bent knee, toe points up, flexes, and comes down. Feet together. Trace from ankle up through knee, center, bend knee, lift, flex, and come down. And one more time, tracing up to knee, hesitating in the middle, pointing up, flexing, and coming down. Now lift that leg just a few inches above the other foot, and we'll circle that foot. The foot is relaxed, circling from the hip. Just small circles for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And back around the opposite direction. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll come to the other side. You could just turn over if you'd like. Resting the head down on the elbow, bent elbow once again. Top leg lifts up and slowly comes down. Equal length as it inhales up and exhales down. Keeping track of the relationship of flexibility and strength. Toe traces from ankle up through knee, bend in the middle, point up, flex, and come down. Toe traces to knee, bend, point, flex, and down. One more time. Raise the top leg up just a few inches and relaxed foot circles round. Adapting as you need to for 3, 2, and 1, and back around the opposite direction. For 3, 2, and 1, and bring it down. Take a moment to rub that hip, making sure the blood's circulating, and we'll come up to a tabletop position. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips, making sure there's plenty of support for the shoulders through the whole hands. Inhale as stomach sinks and heart shines forward. Exhale as tailbone sinks and back arches. Feeling your spine happy as it explores all of its range of motion, flexing and extending. A nice smooth line, never flexing so much that there is a hinge at the back of the waist or a hinge at the bottom or top of the neck. Just a smooth line. And coming back through center. Bring the weight into one knee, other knee lifts up in a hydrant, comes forward towards the elbow, point back, come over, and as you come over, come onto the pinky side of the foot. As it lies there, then bring it up just an inch or so for 3, 2, and 1, strengthening the side hips. Again, coming through hydrant, knee towards elbow, stretch back, come across onto the pinky side of the foot, then lift for 3, 2, and 1, a small lift. And coming back up, hydrant to elbow, stretch back, come across, and lift for 3, 2, and 1. And bring that knee back. That knee is right under the hip. The opposite leg comes up into hydrant, then towards the elbow, way back, over onto pinky side, lift slightly, and then crosses back over through hydrant to elbow, reach back over to pinky, 3, 2, 1, and one more time, forward, reaching back and over for 3, 2, and 1. and come back through center. Now we're going to come back to Chris Holmes' exercise, where he has us bring one arm to the forearm and the other arm comes out to the side. We're on our hand and the elbow is bent up in the air. The chest is going to turn towards the arm that you're on the forearm, away from the elbow bent, and then paddle that elbow back and forth a bit, opening up the corner of the shoulder, the front corner of the shoulder, which tends to become contracted in our chair culture as we somewhat round our shoulders. Then if it works for you to extend the arm that you're looking at that was on its forearm out a little diagonally, bring the chest down towards the mat, turn towards that extended arm, and again, paddle slightly with the elbow. Take a deep in breath, hold, and let it go. Come back through center. The elbow paddle arm becomes the forearm resting arm, and the other arm comes out to the side with the elbow bent. Chest now goes towards the other side, towards that forearm arm. Paddle with the elbow, just a small movement, watching out for your shoulder, its range of motion. Then if it serves you, bring the hand out to the side from the forearm, stretching out, chest down to the mat, turning towards that extended arm, paddling just a bit more. Take a deep breath in and hold, and let it go. And come back to center. Let's come into a child's pose, a nice tight one. Bring your hands back to your feet if that's accessible to you. Just rubbing the bottom of the feet, particularly rubbing the arches. Reminding ourselves of the bright lifted arches that we aim towards in order to keep feet and knees centered. And we'll be coming to that in a standing position in a moment. Reach the arms out, come up onto your fingertips in front of you. Feel long from the fingertips back through the hips. Nice stretch. Then lifting up, we're going to come into a low lunge. I have a hard floor here, so I'm going to put something under my knee. Coming into a low lunge, bringing your awareness to the knee right above the ankle, to the weight coming into the middle of the heel, to the outside of the heel, and across to the first three toes, big toe, second toe, third toe. In the back, aware of having the weight on the top of the foot, again, on the big toe, second and third toe, so that we can engage muscles in the thigh successfully. Now bring the hands so that fists are up on either side of the waist. One elbow comes back, one hand turns so that the back of the hand is towards the ceiling and punches out. Intense concentration on the end of that punch. Opposite elbow comes back, other arm punches out, strong concentration coming from shoulder through elbow down into the palm that is fisted forward. This is an exercise in concentration. An isometric stretcher and strengthener. And come back through center. Hands come down around the front foot. Switch legs, coming into low lunge on the other side. Feeling the balanced centered foot under the front knee. Feeling the balanced centered foot in the back on the front of the foot. Feeling the hips engaged and aligned across. Fists are up, come to the waist, one elbow comes back, one fist punches forward, let your whole attention go out with that fist. Come back, punch out with the other side. Through center, bringing all your heartfelt sadness along with the bravery of your sacred warrior punch into the world, however that looks in your life. And bring both back. Remove anything that's under your knee. Bring both feet together and slowly trace your hands up the legs, coming into a forward fold as we gaze up, hands rise, come down into forward fold. Knees are soft, hands to shins, extend out through the spine, exhale back down. And we're going to come into plank. Knee down or knee up plank, strong through the belly, good support through the shoulders, energy coming out through the heels for 3, 2, and 1. Elbows come in, knees come down. Keep the hands under the shoulders as we come into cobra. Let the stretch be from the lower ribs up through the roof of the mouth, eyes down towards the mat. So not a high cobra, but a long cobra. Inhale, and as you exhale, knit the lower ribs down, squeeze the shoulder blades together and down. Continuing to breathe. Then pressing into the hands, tucking the toes, hips rise, weight comes back over the back feet. Knees are quite soft as you come back into downward dog, pedaling the feet, stretching back through arms and sides, through spine. Bring the weight into one foot, other foot comes across in the back and plants down. So you're in a kind of curtsy position with your feet. Bring that heel of the back leg that has come around, bring it down towards the earth. Let the calf have a nice stretch here. And the foot that is in the downward dog position has a bent knee. And bring it back. Bend the knee, other foot comes around the back in a curtsy, stretching, pushing through the hands. Hips come back a little bit farther, enhancing that calf stretch in the foot that's come around and back. Come on once again, both feet together into plank for 3, 2, and 1. Elbows in, knees down, coming into cobra once again, lengthening as you exhale, bringing in the lower ribs, knitting the shoulder blades down and in. Hands come along the side into locust. Lift legs and feet just a little bit. Remaining long, eyes remain down towards the mat. Breathing, knitting in as you exhale. And bring it down. Bring hands underneath the cheek and just relax down for a moment. Everywhere you can let tension go. Bringing relaxation to every cell of the body. Then we're going to bring ourselves up, feet walk forward, hands walk back. And we're coming up into a standing position. Bring your block or whatever prop you have. If you don't have a prop, you can do this by just standing on the mat. So either way is fine. We're coming back to that idea of the hips that are often uneven, not uneven in everyone. If you have a weaker side or a side that is lower in the hips, find that now and bring that foot up onto whatever prop you might be using, or you can just leave it on the mat. So the idea here is then once you come up onto that prop, you're centering your foot, balancing, bring your thumbs to the tops of your hips so that the hips are now level, adjusting as you need to. No flaring out in the side of the hip, strong along those muscles of the side of the hip and the side of the thigh. No loading in the lower back, which we tend to do on this weaker side. Coming back to the breath. Squeezing in with the sits bones just a bit, bringing the inner hips back towards the sits bones. So inner hips on either side of the pelvic floor coming back a little bit as the sits bones come forward. A very small cinching movement there to kind of bring things together. For 3, 2, and 1, and we'll come down. Move that prop out of the way. Extend the high leg foot, the foot of your high hip leg out to the side. Bring your weight over that lower hip side or weaker side. We're stretching the inner thigh here, which becomes shorter on the higher hip side. We might not do this for a full 30 seconds, but the advice is to do each of these for 30 seconds, several times a week, over 3 to 6 months. One more breath here. And bring it up. And bring the feet together. If you have a prop, bring it between your thighs now. Allow that prop to bring the arches into a brighter position, aware of the weight of the body coming into the middle of the heel, out to the outer heel, and across to the big toe and first 3 toes. Knees right above the ankles, muscles of the thighs active and dynamic and able to be engaged because of that lift in the arch and the balanced feet. That cinching movement between the inner hips and the sits bones, generally a lifting up and a knitting together in the body, creating space, inhaling up and exhaling down, allowing these oblique muscles to dive down towards the pubic bone, knit the ribs together a bit. And next time you inhale and exhale, bring the attention to the shoulder blades. Bend the elbows, squeeze shoulder blades in towards spine, letting those muscles between shoulder blades and spine do the work of widening the hands. For 3, 2, and 1. Maintain your position. I'm going to turn. But maintaining that same position, bring your hands to the sacrum, fingers down in the back. Elbows come together. Shoulder blades squeeze together a little bit more. Front ribs are knitted down. Then opening from pubic bone up through the collarbone, little tuck in the chin. Coming back to vertical. Bring the hands out in front of you, palms facing each other, hips reach back, knees bend, sitting down into a chair. And And we'll go back and forth between those 2 more times, opening up in the front of the body, extending hands out, hips back, practicing that ever-present movement of sitting and standing. And come back up. Remove any prop that is clinging to your body. And we're going to come into a quad balance. From here, we'll come into dancer, which is kicking back and coming forward. So you might want to have a chair in front of you when we come to that part. And you can always use the chair for the quad balance as well. So bringing the weight into a foundation foot, feeling that centered, balanced, center to outer heel across to the big toe. Knee is soft but firm, bending the foot, bending the knee, catching that ankle or foot. Knee comes down towards the floor, arm might reach up or it might be balancing on a chair. Inhale, exhale, knitting the shoulder blades down and the front lower ribs down. Wobbling as you need to keep your balance. And bring that down. Now we're coming into dancer. This time, knees are close together. Bring the hand over to the arch side of the foot, if that is attainable for you. Knees are close. Kick back first, then bring the arm forward, reaching forward. Chin goes towards the shoulder. Kick back, foot into hand. For 3, 2, and 1. And bring yourself back. This is something we're working with gradually, perfecting to the extent that our bodies allow. If you want to bring your chair around to the other side, feel free to do that. And we'll start with a quad balance on this side. So bring your attention to your foot. Balancing, centering up through the knee and the hip, catching your foot, knee down towards the earth, arm reaches up or balances with the chair. Aware of inhaling and exhaling, knitting things together. So both expanding with your inhale and knitting together slightly front to back with the exhale. Then come down from quad balance. Keep the knees close, bend the knee, bring the hand, if possible, to the arch side of the foot. Kick back, and then begin to bring the hand forward, reaching forward, eyes on the horizon. Chin towards the shoulder, knee right behind the head. For 3, 2, and 1. And bring it back. Let's take a moment to bring our heart and lungs back to neutral. Hand on chest, hand on belly. Feeling the beating of the heart. Letting the energy reorganize itself in our body. Letting hands come down. We're going to do our warrior poses now in honor of our brave, sad, and tender warrior. I'm going to use a strap here. You don't need to. You can do these totally without a strap. Just one other way to come towards these warrior poses. We'll first come into warrior 2 pose, finding a narrower or wider stance. Front knee is right over the ankle. Back foot is well planted, feeling the heels and the toes on both feet. Stretching from heart out on either side. Inhaling, letting Front ribs come down towards pubic bone and shoulder blades come down towards waist as you exhale. Establishing your rhythm of breath. Sometimes we have fatigued muscles, nagging storylines in our brain, buns that won't relax. These are what it means to be human. If you don't have the strap, you might want to bring your forearm onto your thigh. If you do have the strap or not, you might bring one hand down and one hand up, letting the forearm be kind of on the inside of the knee. Notice the shoulder blades. Lower one relax down a little bit more than the upper one. And then we're going to come back into stargazing warrior. Back hand on the thigh, other hand reaching up. Breathing with the stars. And then coming once more into side angle. And back up through stargazing warrior. And back through warrior two. Bring the hands to the waist. Just turn the feet, or if you want to bring the feet together first, toe heeling together, and then coming into warrior two on the other side. Carefully finding your stance, making connection with the earth, letting your mind's eye come into the body, the feet, up through the legs, up through the pelvic floor and abdomen, up through chest as the chest opens and stretches out, letting the channels of energy open through the arms out into the world. We meet the various tensions with the gentle openness. In the end, even if we solve the immediate problem, we are stuck with ourselves. And then coming into side angle, your choice of how you would like to do that, feeling the opening on the top side and the strong support on the underside of the ribs. Back hand comes back to the thigh, other arm reaches up towards the sky. Shoulder blades gently down the back. And one more time. And up. Coming back through center, hands come to the hips. Turn the feet pigeon-toed. Torso comes parallel to the earth. Hands come down. You might have a block here. I'm going to walk forward with my hands a bit. And then bring the hips back and forward. Just a nice forward back stretch in this wide angle position. Then walk the hands back. Bring the feet in a bit, come down into a squat. And if you want to stay up a little bit, that's fine too. We're going to stay here for 3, 2, and 1, and then we're going to stand up. Use your hands if you need to for support, and we're going to come back down. Just practicing this, what is evidently evidence of longevity. If you can come up and down. But be kind to yourself, gentle and open. If hands need to give you a little lift here as you come up, that's fine. It's all a gradual strengthening. One last time. Bring one hand to, no, bring both hands over the heart this time. Feeling the heart. Cyndi Lee writes, we can have the bravery to keep tuning in to what we feel. This is what keeps us present and awake. It reminds us that rather than leading with our heads, we let the feelings rest softly over our hearts. Then we'll come back to the brave and tender warrior once again, as we do warrior one. So facing the front of your mat, front toes forward, little space between the heels, other foot at 30 degrees, turning so the hips are aligned with the front of the mat. One hand on the glute of the back leg, making sure there's good support here for the opening hip flexor in the front. Inhale, the arm of the front leg up, fingers go up towards the ceiling, pause for a moment, inhale, exhale, knit front ribs together, shoulder blades down and in, and then open. From pelvis up through breastbone, and come back. Arm comes down. Now both arms reach up, fingers towards ceiling. Inhale, exhale, cinch things together, and come back. Little tuck in the chin. Nice solid body to support your back bend. Hands come down to the waist. Switch the feet. Finding a place to plant the feet in the earth, aligning the hips towards the front of the mat. Again, one hand to make sure you've got a well-engaged glute. Inhale the other arm up. And cinch lower ribs and shoulder blades down. Open up. And come back. Then both arms reach up. Inhale openly. Exhale. Let the oblique muscles knit those lower ribs down. And open up. Firm through the lower spine. Supporting this back bend in the middle and upper spine. And bring the hands down. Bring the feet together, then come back onto that original foot that you started with. Bringing your weight into that foot, we're going to come into a warrior three. If you'd like to have a chair in front of you for this, please feel free to do that. However, we're going to keep our arms probably back along our bodies. So bringing the weight into that well-balanced front foot, aware of center to outer heel and the first three toes, strong through the knee, lifting, maybe lifting just a little bit with the foot in the back, arms along the side, fairly firm. Leg might rise up parallel to the earth or not, either way is fine. The challenge here being to inhale and to exhale, cinch down the ribs and the shoulder blades. And bring it down. Shake out that leg a little bit. And we'll come to the other foot. Finding our balanced centered foot, arms along the side. Soft but firm in the knee. Energy coming out through the heel and foot in the back. Breathing fully. Knitting things together on the exhale. And bring it down. And shake that leg out. Let's go down to a lying position as we come towards the end of our time together. Allow your body, every cell, to sink down towards the earth. Cheeks relaxed and soft down towards earth. The back of the neck. The area between the shoulder blades. The abdomen. The calves. Then bending one leg, sole of foot comes below the buttocks. Other leg comes into a figure four leg with the ankle over the thigh, just above the knee. Leave the foot down, sole that is on the mat. Bring the flat of the hand gently against the inner thigh of the figure four leg. Press gently there. Relax through the ankle, the calf, the thigh, down into the hip, and profoundly relaxing through the abdomen. Relax through your lips and your tongue. Letting those deep inner muscles of the abdomen, particularly the psoas, relax. One more breath as you relax through the inner corners of the shoulders. Then remove that ankle and change legs. Other leg becomes the figure four leg, the flat palm gently pressing against the inner thigh. So there's always some tension here through your arm and shoulder. But the effort is to have no effort in the rest of the body. Relaxing in knees and hips, pelvic floor, lower waist, up along the spine, the back of the neck, the crown of the head open, forehead, third eye, open and relaxed. All the little muscles around the eyes, soft. Down the nose, the tongue, the throat, to the heart. And then releasing that leg, taking a relaxed position with the legs. You might have knees leaning against each other, your choice. A place where all can be relaxed. The breath sweeping down into the body. Exhaling out any toxins, tensions that need to fall down into earth and be reabsorbed. Washing out anything that keeps you from being that brave warrior in your own life. The warrior who feels deeply and yet goes forward. Two more full breaths here. Then bring your knees to your chest, give them a hug. Any intention you would like to bring back into your day. Perhaps just the intention to bounce when you fall. And then rolling over, coming into a brief sitting position. May we be sad. May we be tender. May we be brave. May we be open and awake to the feelings in our heart and deal with them gently. Namaste. Good to practice with you.